भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला। 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 भजो गिरिधर Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki.
Jai.
Dear devotees, yesterday I started this series which is on the topic of who is Radha and Krishna, or why do we do devotion to Radha and Krishna, by saying that the easiest way to begin this quest to understand who are Radha and Krishna is to start with Shri Krishna. We'll move on to who is Shri Radha afterwards. So I asked the question, is Shri Krishna mentioned in the Vedas? Because we know he walked this earth planet 5,000 years ago, and he is described in the Puranas and the Mahabharata, which were revealed by Veda Vyas 5,000 years ago. Of course, his conversation with Arjuna, which is part of the Mahabharata, is available in the form of the Gita as well. But is he in the Vedas? Because Ved is the only Vinirgat Granth that we have, which means it was never produced, it was never created. Whatever is in Ved has been there forever. The book itself isn't eternal, but the Ved, the power, it's an eternal power of God, it's eternal. So Ved never changes. It's reproduced in this world over and over again, whenever is required, but it's always in the same form. So if something is not mentioned in the Vedas, it's not acceptable, even if God himself says it. Kripaluji Maharaj always gives the example of Bhagwan Buddha. We respect Bhagwan Buddha as a descension of Shri Krishna himself. He's an avatar of Bhagwan. He's mentioned in the Puranas. Vedavyasji mentions him. But we don't accept his philosophy. Why? Because he didn't speak according to the Vedas. So everything is measured according to what does Ved say about this. Even if God says something which is against what's in Ved, that's thrown out too. So Ved is the main primary source of all the knowledge, which is produced by God at the time of Srishti. So the question is Krishna mentioned in the Ved? So I explained that there are whole entire Upanishads, which are part of the Vedas, which are only about Shri Krishna. Gopal, Tapaniya Upanishad, Krishna Upanishad, etc. And in those Upanishads, we saw that Shri Krishna is described as being Supreme God, Supreme Brahm. I also quoted the Bhagavatam, and we understood that that Supreme Brahm, Shri Krishna, has three main forms in which he appears. We call Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. The same Shri Krishna appears in these three forms. When he's revealing his complete power, he is Bhagwan. So what is the form of Krishna when he's revealing his complete power? This form. His loving form with his peacock feather, his flute. That's his, we say supreme form because in that form only is he revealing all of his power. So that's Bhagwan. Paramatma is Shri Krishna's form when he's only revealing his almighty power, and the loving power is subdued, or it's just inactive or avyakt, you could say. It's still there, but it's not manifested outwardly. So Paramatma, Almighty God, that there are so many almighty forms. Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Ganesh, Kartikeya, these are all almighty forms. There are many other affiliated forms as well. They're all almighty. There is Shri Krishna's almighty power, or himself, that he appears in those forms. And then Brahma is the same Shri Krishna when almost all of his powers are dormant. Almost no power active. All the powers are there, but they're not active, so they're not manifested. So in that form, Shri Krishna has no form. He's formless, virtueless, has no discernible or describable characteristics. What does he look like as Brahm? Doesn't look like anything. He doesn't have a form. What does he sound like? Doesn't sound like anything. Can't make any sound. He doesn't have a voice. As Bhagwan, he has the sound of his flute, the sound of his anklets, the sound of his voice. As Brahm, no sound. What is his personality like? No personality as Brahm. As Krishna, as Bhagwan, you can say, oh, he's playful, he's charming, he's beautiful. Is Brahm beautiful? No. You need a form to be beautiful. There's no describable characteristic of what is Brahm. How can you describe him? All of Krishna's powers are dormant. Like a sleeping person, you can say. And Shri Krishna eternally exists in all three of these ways. He eternally exists as formless, divine Brahm. He eternally exists in all of those almighty forms, and he eternally exists in his loving form as Shri Krishna, his supreme form. Brahm, as I said, has no form, no characteristics, no name even. As Paramatma, he has name, he has form, he has characteristics, virtues, gunas. He also has his divine abode, Vaikunt. But he doesn't do leelas in his almighty form. As Shri Krishna, he does leelas. So as Shri Krishna, he has name, he has form, he has his virtues, he has his divine abode, which is Golok and Vrindavan. And in addition, he does leelas. So as part of his leelas, the saints of that abode also get to take part. So they're called his parikar, his divine associates. In his other forms, those saints aren't called parikar because they don't get to participate in any kind of close way in any kind of leelas. They just watch Krishna from a distance, like you would look respectfully and admiringly to a great king. They can admire Krishna like that when he's in his almighty form in Vaikunt as Vishnu. But there's no leelas. He reveals those leelas as Bhagwan. So the same God can be experienced in three different ways. One time Naradji was coming down from Swarg down to visit the residents and, of course, Shri Krishna there in Dwarika on this earth planet. So Bhagavatam tells, Chayastvishamityavadharitam pura tata shariri vibhavita kritim vibhur vibhakta vayavam pumanitikramadamun narad ityabodhisa. The residents of Dwarika saw up in the sky, descending towards them, some really bright light. They didn't know it was Naradji. As he came closer, then they saw, oh, there's some form, like a human-like form within that bright light. They still couldn't recognize who it was. And then when Naradji came down all the way right in front of them, then they said, oh, it's Naradji. We know who he is. This verse, in that, it's saying that this is like Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagwan. The same Shri Krishna from the greatest distance is just formless. Is he actually formless? No, he's not formless, but if you want to experience him from that far away, he's formless. When he's a little bit closer, then he's Almighty God, Paramatma. But you want to experience him face to face, close up, then he's Bhagwan, Shri Krishna. I also told you that the Bhagavatam says that all of the dissensions, whatever avatar they all originate from Shri Krishna, like rivulets emanating from a great lake. I told you that Shri Krishna takes Purushavatar. He himself becomes Mahavishnu in order to create the whole universe. then that Mahavishnu, who is Krishna's almighty form, he becomes Vishnu of each Brahmand. And then there's also a Shiva and a Brahma in each Brahmand. And they're all Ansh of Mahavishnu, Ansh meaning a part of him, a fraction of his power, and Mahavishnu is Ansh of Shri Krishna. So all the avatar, mostly when you hear about like Vaman avatar happened, or Narsingh avatar happened, the different dissensions that God takes on our earth planet, mostly that is Vishnu of our Brahmand. Just remember, keep the whole picture in your mind, that actually there's a good graphic up here on the wall. You see, it shows divine Vrindavan and Golok, that's Shri Krishna's abode. Then a couple other Dwarika and Saket, I won't get into that right now, and below that Vaikuntha abode. So that's the Vaikuntha is the abode of Almighty God, and then the embassy of that Vaikuntha abode, or the branch office, is established in each planetary system, each Brahman. So Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma are there representing Supreme God in each Brahman. So normally, who is the one taking avatar when some avatar has to happen in our Brahman? Is it Shri Krishna coming from Vrindavan? Technically, no. Is it Mahavishnu from Vaikuntha? Technically, no. It's Vishnu of our Brahman who comes. He comes as Vaman, he comes as Matsya, he comes as Varaha. So people normally say these are all avatar of Vishnu. But what people don't normally understand is that Vishnu of our Brahman doesn't come as Krishna. All those other avatar, they're called Purush avatar, Purusha avatar. They're Krishna's almighty form, his Ansh, and then that Ansh again comes. It's all Krishna, but there's like an internal situation like this. But Shri Krishna is Swayam Bhagwan. You can say that all of them are God, but Shri Krishna is himself God. He's the one who has taken all of these forms. So when he comes on this earth planet, it's something very rare and very special. Those different dissensions, almighty dissensions, like I was mentioning, the divine fish dissension, divine lion dissension, all these dissensions of Bhagwan, these almighty dissensions, these are dissensions of Vishnu of our Brahman. But when Krishna comes, it's Krishna of divine Vrindavan, divine Golok, who's coming. So he's not just Supreme God of our planetary system, he's Supreme God of uncountable planetary systems in this whole universe. And he's coming in our little Brahman. That's a very rare thing. Those different dissensions of Vishnu that happen, they keep happening repeatedly over the course of a day of Brahma, which is more than 4 billion years. Brahma's one day is more than 4 billion of our years. So in that time, it's broken up into 14 sections called Manavantar. Every Manavantar, the same dissensions of God keep happening. The same Matsya avatar, Narsingh avatar, they keep happening. But Shri Krishna's avatar only happens once. At those 14 Manvantar pass, that makes a whole day of Brahma, more than 4 billion years. Shri Krishna, Swayam Bhagwan, comes once during that time. He himself doesn't come every Manvantar. So Swayam Bhagwan Shri Krishna came 5,000 years ago. Can you imagine how recent that is in the span of 4 billion years? It's like he was just here. Abhi abhi gaye. So what I'm trying to give you is the picture, the understanding that Shri Krishna himself is Supreme God. All other forms of God are included in his personality. But don't ever take that to mean that other forms of God are less than Shri Krishna. How does that make sense? They are him. How can they be less than him? That's like saying that the you who wears a suit and tie is greater than the you who wears a kurta pajama. You would say, what are you talking about? It's the same me. So Krishna can't be said to be, he's greater when he's in his form as Krishna, and he's less when he's in his form as Vishnu. It's all Krishna. He's just not revealing his full personality when he's in the form of Vishnu. That's all. Internally, he's the same. Like, let's say there's a university professor. He's an English teacher at university, and he's teaching his 4-year-old son the ABCDs. So if you see him teaching his son those ABCDs and you think, he's a university professor? All he knows is ABCD? No, he's only revealing what's required in that situation at that time. He's so much more than that. So even though creating this whole universe, it seems like a great thing to us, for Krishna it's nothing. It's like teaching someone ABCD. He does that with a fraction of his power. So that's why we say that Mahavishnu, who in the form of Mahavishnu, Krishna creates the whole universe. So Mahavishnu is just a fraction of Krishna's personality. But it is Shri Krishna. It's not someone else. So that Bhagwan Shri Krishna, he descends on our earth planet. Yesterday I left you with the question, that little Krishna who has to learn to walk and talk and who acts like an ordinary little boy, is that the same Shri Krishna that we're hearing about from our scriptures, who is Swayam Bhagwan? Yes, he's the same. If you read the description in the Bhagavatam, it tells that there in the jail cell, Devaki and Vasudev were there in Kansa's dungeon, locked away. And Vasudev felt that Shri Krishna has come in my antahkaran, in my man. Although Shri Krishna is always omnipresent, but in some kind of special way he revealed himself in Vasudevji's antahkaran. Then from there, he went into Devaki's antahkaran, and she felt that Shri Krishna has now entered. So she felt impregnated. And then Shri Krishna, using his Yogamaya Shakti, made her have all the same experiences she'd had the previous 7 times that she was pregnant. She'd been pregnant 7 times. She knows what it feels like to be pregnant. Yet she wasn't pregnant in that sense, not this time. There was no embryo inside. If you had taken an ultrasound image, you wouldn't have seen any embryo. Or maybe Shri Krishna would have even done that with his Yogamaya. I don't know. She felt like there's a baby inside of me. When her belly was growing and it got bigger, and then she could feel that Shri Krishna, somebody's moving, kicking around inside, just like a mother feels. She had all the same sensations, yet Krishna was not there in the form of a baby inside of her. He was in her antahkaran, making all of these feelings happen, using his Yogamaya power. During that time, once he had come into her antahkaran, then Shiva, Brahma, Indra, the other celestial gods, they all came and did stuti to Shri Krishna. It's called Garbha Stuti. So they praised Shri Krishna and said that, "O Krishna, you and your divine body are not separate. It's not like a human being who his soul comes from somewhere else and then enters his mother's womb," meaning wherever he died, his last life, his soul is transferred into whoever is his new mother in this life, enters that mother's womb. There is already a little embryo growing there. He enters that becomes his body for this life. So our body and our self, our soul, are two different things. When they were doing Garbha Stuti, they said, no, Shri Krishna, you are your body. Asyapi deva vapusho madanugrahasya. They said, you come out of your grace in this world, and you are not, your body is not made of the material elements like all the ordinary people's bodies. Your body is made of Satchit Anand. So you are your body. That's a different concept. We are taught that we are not our body. We are the soul who inhabits our body. But Shri Krishna is his body. He's not someone inhabiting a body that he can then leave and his body dies, or he has to take on a body. He is his body. So they praised him in this way. Then they all went. 9 months passed. And after 9 months, all of a sudden Devaki felt that the Shri Krishna who was inside my antahakaran, he disappeared. And she felt her belly deflate. And she opened her eyes, and there was Shri Krishna standing in front of her, and she thought, where did he come from? Because he was full grown. He didn't appear like a little one-day-old baby. He was full grown Shri Krishna. So Shri Krishna said to her, I appeared to you in this form so you would remember that you did devotion to me in your last life. You asked to have me as your son, but at that time you worshipped me in my form as Mahavishnu. So I appeared to you now here in front of you in my almighty form as Vishnu. Tamadbhutam balakamam bhujekshanam Chaturbhujam Shankhagadar Yudayudham Shrivatsalakshmam Galashobhikaustubham Pitambaram Sandrapayodasaubhagam. Bhagavatam. He appeared in his full decorations, wearing his golden crown, his pitambar, his kaustubh, jewel necklace, fully dressed and decorated in his full-grown form and with 4 arms, Mahavishnu. So obviously, this was no normal birth. We call it a janma, which to us means birth, but it wasn't a material birth. He simulated a material birth, but then he just appeared in front of her. Where did he come from? He didn't have to come from anywhere. He's already omnipresent. He's everywhere. He just appeared. That's it. Then Devaki said to him, Upasanghara Vishvatman Nadorupamalaukikam. Oh, yes, my Lord, I do remember doing devotion to you and asking you to become my son, but you've appeared as my father here. Can you please become a little baby so that I can have the joy of motherhood? So then Shri Krishna, Gatva Narayano Devo Vilina Krishna Vigrahe, Brahma Vaivar Puran. That form of Narayan, Mahavishnu, went lean. It merged into Shri Krishna's body. Then Shri Krishna was standing there. See, that shows Vishnu is within Shri Krishna. Vishnu didn't become Krishna. Vishnu merged into Krishna, disappeared. Vilinaha Krishna Vigrahe. Then he became a little baby in Devaki's lap. So this is how Shri Krishna's appearance is described in brief in the Bhagavatam. Yes, that's the same Supreme God, Shri Krishna, who appeared and then became a little baby. From that point on, much of what he did was in the same way that any little boy would grow up. Of course, much of it was not. Much of it was far beyond what any little boy could do, like, what's the first thing that happened as soon as he became a little boy? All the guards fell asleep, the guards who were guarding the jail cell. Vasudev's ankle shackles just fell off of him, and the door to the jail just opened. So right from the beginning, Shri Krishna is showing, even though he's in the form of this little baby now, he's no normal little baby. So Vasudevji put him in a basket, put him on his head, and just walked out and crossed Yamunaji. Even while he was crossing Yamuna, there was an amazing thing that happened. Of course, it was raining very heavily, and Yamuna was in flood. And Sheshnag was over top of Krishna like an umbrella, protecting him from the rain. But when Vasudevji tried to cross Yamuna, Yamuna started rising higher and higher and higher, and he thought he was going to get swept away. But Shri Krishna knew, why is Yamuna rising? She wants to touch his lotus feet. So he put his leg out of the basket, dipped his lotus foot in the water of Yamuna, and then Yamuna went right down, and Vasudevji easily passed through. So this is how Shri Krishna began his Leelas. On the 6th day after this appearance, another amazing Leela happened. How big is a 6-day-old baby? What can a 6-day-old baby do? Nothing but lie there and cry when he's hungry. Kans wanted to find Shri Krishna because he knew that Shri Krishna was going to be the one to kill him, so he wanted to find Shri Krishna before that happened. So he sent Putana. Putana came in the form, because she's a Rakshasi, she could take any form using her Maya. She took the form of a very beautiful woman. But her idea was, I'm going to search through all these villages and find out where is Shri Krishna. The very first house she went to was Nanda Baba and Yashoda's house. Imagine, out of all the homes in Braj, so many with children, she could have gone to any house. She would have, who knows what she would have done to all of those children in all of those houses she visited. Shri Krishna, using his Yogamaya, made her come to his house first. And she walked right in the house. Yashoda, Rohini, the gopis were there. I mean, if you see some stranger walk in your house, are you going to let them just walk in and pick up your baby? No, no one would let it. But she was so beautiful, everyone was just watching. Oh. So she walked right in, right over to Shri Krishna, and she had the intention of killing him. She was going to suckle him, and she had smeared poison on herself. This poison was so poisonous that just even a touch on your tongue and you'd be instantly dead. She picked up Shri Krishna. She held him to herself, little 6-day-old Shri Krishna, and Shri Krishna decided, okay, it's time to, I don't want this Rakshasi going around to any other houses, so I'm going to have to kill her. So he called Bhagwan Shiv, who's also a part of him. He said, I didn't come here to drink poison. Ye tumhara kaam hai bhaiya. So you come here. So it says in Bhagavatam that Shri Krishna made his face like that. He closed his eyes and he furrowed up his brow like he was angry. In other words, he was calling Shiva, Rudra. So he came and he drank the poison, and Shri Krishna drank the milk. But he drank so hard that he drank her pran, the life force, right out of her body. And as that was happening, she couldn't maintain her disguise anymore, and she resumed her natural form, which was massive. She was so big, she became so big, and she screamed, and everybody heard her scream, and then she fell over, and she crushed all the trees in the jungle for 19 kilometers, 12 miles. That's how big she was. She came down with a thunderous rumble. It was like a big earthquake happened. And she was lying there dead. And all of the Brajwasis have no idea what just happened. But then now they see, oh, Krishna's gone. this Rakshasi came. She must have taken Krishna. They're thinking the worst. They go over, they run over, and they see on the top of her, Shri Krishna still hasn't let go. He's just their little 6-day-old Krishna. So they climb up and grab him. And it was like nothing happened. No big deal for Krishna. But they're all praying to God. Oh, thank you for saving our Shri Krishna. So what is all this? Is Krishna a helpless baby or is he God? He's both. He's both at the same time. He is Supreme God, but he's doing the Bal Leelas, the sweet Leelas of a small child. There's a lot to understand behind this, though. All those Brajwasis, they didn't think of him as God, even when they saw that he just killed a 12-mile tall demon. And he's only 6 days old. They didn't think that at all. They just thought, oh, something happened. Maybe God saved him. I don't know. And, oh, we're so lucky. They just thought like that. They didn't think that Krishna is God. Yet, Brahma says, Aho bhagyam Nanda Gopavrajau Yan Mitram Paramanandam Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. And Tadbhuri Bhagyamiha Janma Kimapyatavyam Tadgokule Pikatamanghrirajo Bhishekam Yajjivitam tu nikhilam Bhagavan Mukundas Tvadyapiyat Padarajah Shruti Mrigyameva. Both these shlokas are from the Bhagavatam. Brahma is praising the Brajwasis, the Gopis, the Gwalbals, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba, saying they're all eternal divine personalities. They're not ordinary villagers. These are God-realized saints who know exactly who Shri Krishna is. They're God-realized. They have the knowledge of God. They know who God is. They know who Krishna is. Yet, they have no idea. How is this possible? I'll get to that in a minute. Later on, as Shri Krishna grew a little bit older, of course, he learned to crawl. Bhagavatam tells that Shri Krishna and Balaram, they used to go out, because Yashoda and Rohini, they would get busy with some household chores. So Shri Krishna and Balaram would go crawling out in the courtyard, and sometimes they'd see somebody walking by, just some stranger they don't even know, and they'd start following him, crawling. And then when they'd realize that, oh, we don't know this person, they'd get scared and start crying and come crawling back really quickly. Rohini and Yashoda had trouble getting any work done because they were so active. It was so hard to keep track of them. 1 minute they're going over that way, there's some dog lying there, and they're going towards him, and they're thinking, oh, no, don't bother that sleeping dog. Then they go that side, they're chasing after some peacock. Go that side, they're trying to put their hand in the fire or something. Just always getting into one thing or another. When they got a little older, they would go and find some sleeping calf and grab onto its tail. So the calf would jump up and start running, and Krishna would just keep hanging on, and he'd get dragged everywhere. And all the Brajwasis would be rolling on the ground. They were laughing so hard seeing this. Shri Krishna had a thing, just like many small children. I've seen children, nowadays kids don't get to grow up playing outside much, but kids have a thing for eating soil. I've seen kids in apartment buildings eating the soil out of the potted plants. Shri Krishna was also like this. He used to like to eat the soil. So his mother would scold him, no, you don't put the soil in your mouth, but every day she'd hear from Balaram or someone would tell on Krishna that he was eating soil again today, do you know? So today, Mother Yashoda said, Kanhaiya, Kanha, let me see. Are you eating the soil? No, mother, I wasn't eating the soil. I told you I wouldn't eat the soil. But he was eating the soil. And he had the soil, obviously the evidence would still be in his mouth, between his teeth. So Krishna thought, since there's so much evidence against me, and all the Gwalbals are telling that I did eat the soil, Balaram is telling, so I have to be very convincing today. So he says, Maya, if you don't believe me, why don't you look in my mouth for yourself? Thinking that if I say it so confidently, she'll just think, oh, he couldn't have eaten the soil. Why would he tell me to look in his mouth if he had eaten the soil? So she would just believe him like that. That's what he was hoping. But mother said, today I'm not going to just take his word for anything. Let me see. You were just telling me, look in my mouth, mother? Okay, open your mouth. So now he was stuck. Like kinkartavya vimurd. He didn't know, what should I do? If I open my mouth, she'll see. And mother is actually, she's got him and she's holding the stick in front of him, a little santi, thin little stick, threatening that I'm going to hit you with this. So you better tell me the truth. So Shri Krishna knows, now if I open my mouth, she'll see the evidence and I'll get hit. If I don't open my mouth, she'll know that I must have eaten the soil. That's why I'm not opening my mouth. I'll get hit with the stick. So in this state, he couldn't decide what to do, didn't know what to say now, had no more answers, nothing more he could say. So he closed his eyes and he was trembling and tears are coming from his eyes. Some of you heard this description from Sri Maharajji the other night. And now at this point, he's not planning to open his mouth, but out of fear, his mouth just opened. And then nothing happened. Krishna, after a while, he's thinking, at first he's thinking, okay, now is the stick going to hit here or is it going to hit here? Where am I going to get hit first? And then nothing happened. So he kind of opened his eyes slowly and then he saw Maya is trembling. She's dropped the stick. She's like sweat pouring from her. It's like she's feeling dizzy. What happened? So what happened is that when Shri Krishna's mouth opened, his almighty power, which is his servant, whom he had banished from Braj, saying, you have no place here, came and helped him. Why had he banished his Aishwarya Shakti, his almighty power? Because if that almightiness is there, he's Mahavishnu. Then what Leela is he going to do? Is Mahavishnu going to get tied up to the ukal and threatened by mother with the stick? Is Mahavishnu going to go and grab some calf's tail and get dragged around? No. Supreme God, in his almightiness, doesn't do things like that. He's serious. He sits respectably on the throne and you can worship him from a distance. That's it. But I told you that Shri Krishna performs leelas. How does he perform those leelas when he's Almighty God? Shouldn't he be sitting there seriously, respectfully, letting people admire him from a distance? Yes, that would be the only thing possible if that almightiness were his main power, but it's not. He has another power above his almighty power. Sa ek eveshwaraha narayano khila brahmandadhipati rekonsha tasya shaktayastvanekadha ahladini sandhini jnanecha kriyadya bahuvidha shaktaya. Radhika Upanishad is saying that Supreme God Shri Krishna has many, many powers, uncountable powers. Out of those, Sandhini, the almighty power, is one of them, but Ahladini is the power of bliss. Ta swahladini variyasi. That Ahladini Shakti is supreme. It's beyond the power of almightiness. Ahladini is the power of bliss, the power that makes Sri Krishna blissful. That is Ahladini Shakti. And Ahladini Shaktera Paramasar Taro Premanam. The essence of Ahladini Shakti is called Prem. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prem. Prem is another word for bhakti. Bhakti is the supreme power in the divine world, higher than Krishna's almighty power, higher than his power of knowledge, is his power of bhakti. That bhakti is not the bhakti we do. That's another kind of bhakti I'll talk to you about later this week. This is a divine power, the essence of his Ahladini Shakti. It's also called Prema Bhakti, divine love, the essence of bliss. So this supreme power, it has the ability, or you can say it's so great that all other powers merge into it when that power is manifested. Like, let's say the moon is in the sky. Sometimes you see this, like if, let's say you stay up all night and you see, okay, the full moon is going through the sky. So the moon is so bright and so attractive at night. It's the most noticeable thing in the night sky. But in the morning, when the moon is still there, but the sun is rising, then do you notice the moon anymore? In the presence of the sun, the moon is nothing. Is the moon still there? Yes, it is still there, but it's of no consequence. The moon's importance is merged into the sun because the light of the moon comes from the sun originally. Something like this, Krishna's almightiness, his divine knowledge, all of this, it just merges in the presence of this divine love power, this bhakti. So that bhakti is the innermost power of God. He doesn't always reveal it. In his form as Mahavishnu, he's not revealing this power. It's there inside of him. He's not revealing it because he has to be serious. But if that bhakti, that prema bhakti is manifested, then imagine, God forgets his almightiness. He forgets his knowledge. Is that knowledge still there? Yes. Is the almightiness still there? Yes. But it's nothing in front of that prema shakti or that prema bhakti. Think of it like, let's say you have a room full of politicians, governors, very important people in the country. So they're all shining brightly. Someone would see, if there are ordinary people in the room, oh, look at all these important people, the rulers of our country. And then the president walks in the room. Now is anybody going to notice some governor? They're all still there, but now in the presence of the president, their presence is insignificant. It's not even noticeable. Similarly, when that prema shakti is manifested, all of his almightiness, his knowledge, it all just merges, it drowns in that totally. So not only is Sri Krishna under the effect of that, but all of his saints are under the effect of that as well. So that's why the gopis, the Gwalbals, Mother Yashoda, none of them think of Sri Krishna as God. Why? Because they're under the effect of that prema shakti. Sri Krishna doesn't even think of himself as God. He just forgets. So in this Leela, that Aishwarya Shakti came and showed itself to Mother Yashoda, came into Krishna's mouth and showed the whole entire universe. And then Mother was thinking, what? I thought he was my loving son. Is he some kind of God? What's going on here? So how the rest of that Leela played out, and some more details about how all of these special sweet childhood leelas of Krishna are able to take place even though he's Supreme God, I'll explain tomorrow. So we'll sing a Pad Kirtan which describes a leela between a gopi and Shri Krishna. Nirmohiya soneha lagay, hai main lutti gayi ri. Nirmohiya soneha lagay, hai main lutti gayi ri. Nirmohiya soneha lagay, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। रे मोहिया सोनेहा लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई री। हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई री। एक दिन अली कली जाती रही, एक दिन अली कली जाती रही। एक दिन अली कली जाती रही। एक दिन अली कली जाती रही। बेचन बरसाने गाम दही, बेचन बरसाने गाम दही। मगनी पट लकुटी लिए आए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। मगनी पट लकुटी लिए आए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। मगनी पट लकुटी लिए आए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। मगनी पट लकुटी लिए आए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। मगनी पट लकुटी लिए आए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। मगनी पट लकुटी लिए आए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई री। हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई री। निर्मोहिया सोनेहा लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। निर्मोहिया सोनेहा लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। बोलियो अली लखुया कुंज गली, बोलियो अली लखुया कुंज गली। बोलियो अली लखुया कुंज गली। बोलियो अली लखुया कुंज गली। हूँ इकलो तू हूँ इकली। 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 मिली इक इक एक द्वय हुए जाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। एक द्वय हुए जाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। मिली एक द्वय हुए जाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। एक द्वय हुए जाए, एक एक द्वै हुए जाय, हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
एक एक द्वै हुए जाय, हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
नीर मोहिया सोने लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
मोहिया सुनेहा लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई।
हों डांटी कही लंपट चलू हट,
डांटी कही लंपट चलू हट।
हों डांटी कही लंपट चलू हट,
डांटी कही लंपट चलू हट।
आवत पति पाछे ही ले लठ झट,
आवत पति पाछे ही ले लठ झट।
दऊं हेला दऊं हेला अबही फल पाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
हेला अबही फल पाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई।
दऊं हेला अबही फल पाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। दऊं
हेला अबही फल पाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई।
दऊं हेला बही फल पाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
हेला अबही फल पाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई।
हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई।
निर्मोहिया सोने लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
मोहिया सुनेहा लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई।
बोलियो अब तो ही अपनी कर ली,
बोलो अब तो ही अपनी कर ली।
बोलियो अब तो ही अपनी कर ली।
बोलो अब तो ही अपनी कर ली।
पिटवाय चाहे अपनाय अली,
पिटवाय चाहे अपनाय अली।
पिटवाय चाहे अपनाय अली।
पिटवाय चाहे अपनाय अली।
सुख दई हों सुख दई हों तो ही लठ खाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
सुख दई हो तो ही लठ खाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई।
सुख दई हों तो ही लठ खाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री। हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई।
निर्मोहिया सोने लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
मोहिया सुनेहा लगाए, हाय मैं लुटी गई।
यह सुनी गई तन मन प्राण हार,
यह
सुनी गई तन मन प्राण हार।
यह सुनी गई तन मन प्राण हार।
हाँ तो ही निहार सो मोहि निहार।
हाँ तो ही निहार सो मोहि निहार।
हाँ ते ही निहार सो मोहि निहार।
हाँ ते ही निहार सो मोहि निहार।
गिरि भूपै
राधे
गिरि भूपै कृपालु कही हाय। हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
गिरि भूपै कृपालु कही हाय। हाय मैं लुटी गई रे।
गिरि भूपै कृपालु कही हाय। हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
गिरि भूपै कृपालु कही हाय। हाय मैं लुटी गई रे।
गिरि भूपै कृपालु कही हाय। हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
गिरि भूपै कृपालु कही हाय। हाय मैं लुटी गई रे।
हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई रे।
हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
हाय हाय मैं लुटी गई रे।
निर्मोहिया सोनेहा लगाए। हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
निर्मोहिया सुनेहा लगाए। हाय मैं लुटी गई रे।
निर्मोहिया सोनेहा लगाए। हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
निर्मोहिया सुनेहा लगाए। हाय मैं लुटी गई रे।
निर्मोहिया सोनेहा लगाए। हाय मैं लुटी गई री।
निर्मोहिया सुनेहा लगाए। हाय मैं लुटी गई रे।
कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की
जय।